Welcome, everyone, to our video on the India-Pakistan rivalry and its global impact. Today, we're diving into the top 10 countries deeply involved in this intense geopolitical contest, driven by historical tensions, territorial disputes, and strategic interests. From major powers balancing alliances to regional players shaping outcomes, these nations influence the rivalry through military support, diplomacy, or mediation. Join us as we explore their roles, motivations, and the delicate balance they maintain to prevent escalation in a nuclear-armed region. Buckle up for an insightful journey into one of the world's most critical rivalries. Let's get started. 10. United Kingdom. The United Kingdom's involvement in the India-Pakistan rivalry is shaped by its historical role in the region and contemporary ties with both nations. As the former colonial power that partitioned India and Pakistan, the UK has a legacy interest in the dispute and maintains diplomatic relations with both. It aligns more closely with India on counter-terrorism, condemning attacks linked to Pakistan and supporting New Delhi's security concerns. The UK advocates for de-escalation to prevent regional instability, motivated by economic ties, particularly with India, and concerns over diaspora communities from both nations. Its involvement includes issuing travel advisories and offering diplomatic channels for dialogue. The UK's role is driven by a desire to maintain influence in South Asia, protect trade interests, and ensure global security, given the nuclear stakes. While neutral in rhetoric, its actions reflect a slight tilt toward India. 9. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's involvement in the India-Pakistan rivalry reflects its delicate balancing act between historical ties with Pakistan and expanding economic relations with India. As a longtime ally of Pakistan, Saudi Arabia provides diplomatic and military support, rooted in religious and strategic alignment. However, its growing trade and investment ties with India, a major energy market, compel it to adopt a neutral stance, advocating for dialogue to resolve tensions. Saudi Arabia's motivations include maintaining influence in the Muslim world, securing economic benefits from both nations, and preventing a conflict that could disrupt global energy markets. Its role often involves quiet diplomacy, offering to mediate while avoiding actions that favor one side overtly. Saudi Arabia's involvement is driven by a desire to preserve regional stability and protect its geopolitical and economic interests, making it a cautious but significant player in the rivalry. 8. Iran. Iran's involvement in the India-Pakistan rivalry is complex, as it balances historical ties with Pakistan and growing economic relations with India. Traditionally closer to Pakistan due to shared borders and cultural connections, Iran often aligns with Islamabad on regional security issues, offering mediation to de-escalate tensions. However, its strategic partnership with India, particularly in trade and infrastructure projects, complicates its stance, pushing Iran toward neutrality in public statements. Iran's motivations include maintaining influence in South Asia, securing economic benefits from both nations, and countering rival powers in the region. Its role is shaped by a desire to prevent a conflict that could destabilize its borders or disrupt trade routes. While posts on social platforms suggest Iran leans toward Pakistan, its pragmatic approach avoids fully alienating India. Iran's involvement thus hinges on diplomatic maneuvering to protect its regional standing and economic interests. 7. Turkey. Turkey's role in the India-Pakistan rivalry is defined by its strong historical and ideological alignment with Pakistan, rooted in shared cultural and religious ties. Turkey frequently supports Pakistan's position on regional disputes, criticizing India's policies and offering diplomatic backing. While it has proposed mediation to ease tensions, its rhetoric and actions lean heavily toward Islamabad, making it a vocal advocate for Pakistan's interests. Turkey's involvement is motivated by its ambition to lead in the Muslim world and counter India's regional influence, which it perceives as misaligned with its geopolitical goals. Its limited ties with India, strained by differing stances on security issues, reinforce its pro-Pakistan tilt. Turkey's actions, including arms supplies and diplomatic support, amplify its role in the rivalry, though it avoids direct military involvement. Stability is a concern, but ideological solidarity with Pakistan remains its primary driver. 6. Japan. Japan's involvement in the India-Pakistan rivalry is shaped by its strategic partnership with India, primarily through regional frameworks aimed at countering shared challenges. As a key ally in maritime security and economic cooperation, Japan supports India's role as a regional stabilizer, particularly in response to security threats linked to Pakistan. Japan condemns acts of terrorism and aligns with India's counter-terrorism efforts, while advocating for peaceful resolution to avoid regional instability. Its involvement is driven by a desire to strengthen India as a counterweight to other powers and protect economic interests, including trade routes in the Indo-Pacific. Japan has minimal direct ties with Pakistan, making its stance pro-India but cautious. Motivated by regional security and economic stability, Japan seeks to prevent escalation that could disrupt its investments and strategic goals, positioning it as a diplomatic supporter of India in the rivalry. 5. France. France is deeply involved in the India-Pakistan rivalry through its strategic and military partnership with India, positioning it as a key supporter of New Delhi. As a major supplier of advanced fighter jets and naval technology, France enhances India's defense capabilities, particularly in countering threats attributed to Pakistan. The two nations share a commitment to counter-terrorism, with France consistently backing India's stance on regional security issues. While France advocates for de-escalation to prevent a broader conflict, its involvement is driven by lucrative defense contracts and a desire to strengthen ties with India as a counterbalance to other regional powers. France has limited direct engagement with Pakistan, making its role heavily tilted toward India. Its motivations include securing economic interests, expanding its influence in the Indo-Pacific, and supporting a stable South Asia to protect global trade routes and geopolitical alignments. 4. Israel. Israel's involvement in the India-Pakistan rivalry is driven by its robust defense and strategic partnership with India, rooted in shared concerns over terrorism and regional security. As a key supplier of advanced weaponry, surveillance technology, and counter-terrorism expertise, Israel bolsters India's military capabilities, particularly in response to threats linked to Pakistan. The two nations collaborate closely on intelligence and defense strategies, aligning against militancy and fostering technological exchanges. Israel's stance is firmly pro-India, with little diplomatic engagement with Pakistan due to historical tensions and differing ideological alignments. Its motivation stems from strengthening India as a regional ally, countering shared adversaries, and expanding its influence in Asia. While Israel avoids direct mediation in the rivalry, its military support implicitly shapes the conflict's dynamics, making it a significant, albeit one-sided, player. Stability is a secondary concern, as its primary focus is empowering India's defense posture. 3. Russia. Russia's role in the India-Pakistan rivalry is shaped by its historical ties with both nations, positioning it as a cautious but influential player. Traditionally a major arms supplier to India, Russia maintains strong defense and diplomatic relations with New Delhi, supporting its regional ambitions. However, it has cultivated ties with Pakistan in recent years, engaging in joint military exercises and economic discussions to balance its influence in South Asia. Russia's involvement often takes the form of neutrality, advocating for dialogue to prevent escalation, as a wider conflict could disrupt its strategic interests in the region. Motivated by a desire to maintain its role as a global mediator and protect economic ties, Russia avoids taking sides explicitly. Its unique position allows it to engage both nations, but its deeper historical alignment with India gives it a slight tilt, while still prioritizing stability to safeguard its geopolitical leverage. 2. China. China's involvement in the India-Pakistan rivalry stems from its long-standing alliance with Pakistan, one of its closest strategic partners, and its own tensions with India over border disputes. As a major supplier of military equipment and economic investments to Pakistan, China bolsters Islamabad's capabilities, viewing it as a counterbalance to India's growing regional influence. The rivalry aligns with China's broader geopolitical goals, particularly its competition with India in Asia. While China publicly calls for de-escalation to avoid destabilizing the region, its support for Pakistan is unwavering, driven by shared interests in countering Western influence and securing trade routes. China's territorial claims in Kashmir further complicate its role, as it seeks to maintain leverage in the dispute. Its involvement is motivated by a desire to project power, secure economic corridors, and limit India's strategic ascent, making it a pivotal player in the rivalry's dynamics. 1. United States. The United States plays a significant role in the India-Pakistan rivalry due to its deep strategic partnership with India, forged through military cooperation and joint efforts to counter regional threats, particularly from China. As a global superpower, it supports India's counter-terrorism stance, especially in response to attacks attributed to Pakistan-based groups, while publicly urging both nations to avoid escalation. The U.S. views India as a key ally in the Indo-Pacific to balance China's influence, which aligns with Pakistan's close ties to Beijing. However, its involvement is tempered by concerns over nuclear risks, given both nations' capabilities. The U.S. has historically mediated tensions and maintains diplomatic channels with Pakistan, though its tilt toward India is evident in defense agreements and intelligence sharing. Its primary motivation is maintaining regional stability to protect global economic and security interests, while strengthening India's role as a counterweight to rival powers.